Hello, welcome to Tip Drops with Khalida, another live edition. Today will be a quickie. I want to share a few tips on how to release or show your hip flexors some love. And this is inspired by the coming Khalida Boost series. I want to say two things at once, as well as the Find Your Abs challenge that I have cooked up for some people. And there were some questions about especially how to release your hip flexors if they are feeling a bit tight. And it also happens to be of help if you have tight shoulders. So be sure to try this out. It doesn't matter if you're working on ab movements or not. The hip flexors are connected to everything. So releasing those might be a good thing to do for yourself. So first of all, if you want to sign up for my Khalida Find Your Abs challenge, I will add a link here. It's free. You will get 5 emails from me, one every day. And each day we discover a layer of the abdominals, and we go from very deep to the more outer layers. And this way you will get some visual ideas of what is working how and how you can access and activate these layers. So if you have any imbalances or if you're not sure that you're using all the layers of your abs, this challenge might be of help. I also have a full hour tutorial which the challenge is based on, and you'll find this in my big group, the Khalida Online, which I'll link to also, as well as on YouTube, because then you have subtitles. Okay, let's get going. So for the hip flexors, if you are feeling a bit tight, these muscles, they run from the front of your spine, right up here, diagonally through your body, across the top of your front of the pelvis, and it connects to the leg. So if your upper legs are a bit tight, they might get in the way of the stretch. So we will release this upper leg a bit first, and then we'll get into the hip flexors. So the first thing we do, you will need a yoga mat or a towel or something to pad the floor if your floor is not carpeted. And a couple of yoga blocks or pillows, anything you can stack. This can also be a rolled up towel. First of all, to release the upper leg, what I like to do, because it's easy and quick, is lay on my side. I pull the shoulder down, so I'm working on my sideways muscles, the obliques at the same time, and I grab my foot. Now if it is tricky for you to grab this foot, if you're a bit tight here and it pulls you back, you can use a towel or a belt or a strap, so you don't have to yank it. So grab it if you can, otherwise use a strap or belt. And then instead of just pulling this foot in, think of bringing the knee back. So knee travels back and you can circle it here also. At the same time, if you want, put some pressure, press your foot into your hand and pull with the hand at the same time. This way you have some resistance and it helps it open. Then open and close. Again, you can do it a couple of times because it works better each time you do it. And we switch. So this is for the quadriceps, the front of the leg, so it doesn't get in the way of your hip flexor relaxation. So grab a towel or belt if you're tight and put it around your foot. If you can also just use your hand. I'm opening my shoulder. Move the knee behind the hip if you can, pressing with the foot into your hand or towel or belt for resistance, and then circle, move it around a bit. Okay, that's enough, a couple of seconds will do. Now, 2 things we will do. First one is just to let the hip flexors relax. If you have been sitting a lot, it'll be in this position, and standing up might tilt your pelvis. So if you have a sway back, shortened hip flexors might be something that you struggle with. This exercise, it's not an exercise, you just lay on the floor, does help, and it helps quickly. So that's something I like to do if I've done a lot of computer work, like creating the challenge. What you can do is first lay on the floor, make sure your back is touching, so you might have to tilt the pelvis up a tiny bit. From there, if you straighten out the legs and they pull your back up, which happens to me if I've been sitting, you can test it with one leg. If your foot doesn't fall on the floor right away, boost it. So you can use a block, put it flat or put it upright to start. I'm using 2 blocks, one for each leg. And with my hands, I find the pelvis, and I simply place my hands on this. So this is, or you could say my hips. I grab my hips, and where my fingertips are, that's where I place my hands. And I simply lay here for a couple of seconds and I breathe. Now if you feel this is starting to relax, you may also stay here for a minute or so, but I want to keep it short. You can lower the blocks or remove one towel if you had 2 rolled up towels stacked, or take a smaller pillow and then try again. And you can just kind of poke where you feel the edge of your pelvis, poke 1 step in and press. And if this is not too sore, you might even be able to feel the hip flexors relax. And it's like a little massage you give yourself. So that's my first exercise. Very simple but very effective. And if you wait long enough, if you can do this for 20 minutes, which I sometimes do with a timer, you might be able to, for the first time in a long time, release the boosts and touch the floor with your legs. And for me this takes time, but it is possible. First of all though, use your boost because it's more about having support. Second exercise, and this is the one that works also for the shoulders, is to get up on your knees, then tilt your pelvis up. If you've done the stretch for the quads, this will be easier. One leg goes in front in a 90-degree angle. So I bring my foot out if it's too close, and I bring it back in. So I have a 90-degree angle here, the foot right under the knee to start. The back foot, I make sure it's not turned out or turned in, but parallel for now. From here, I'll show it like this. Where the knee is in front, this hip legs to hike up, I sink it down and you might feel a stretch here. So you sink down this knee, you pull up the front, then, I'll do like this, where the knee is down, you lift one arm. You lift one arm, and from that, keeping the pelvis up, you slide the hips, the full pelvis forward. And you may walk the foot out a bit. Once you feel a kind of resistance, reach for the opposite side diagonally. And that might give you a deep, deep stretch in this area that you just relaxed while laying down. And that's helping your hip flexor lengthen. And I don't hold this statically, I just go in and out of the kind of stretch. And then I hold it after a couple of times and I breathe. That's it, other side. And just doing this, one leg up, I have to switch, one leg up, and sinking down the hip, pulling up the pelvis, letting your arms hang, might help to relax your shoulders because it's all connected, hips and shoulders. So again, one leg is in front, 90 degrees, foot is under the knee, I drop this hip. And this might be more tricky on one side than the other. With this hip dropped, I pull up the front, drop and pull, drop and tilt. Once you're in position, the whole shebang slides forward and I might have to walk front with my foot a tiny bit. Now where the knee is down, this arm goes up and then reach across diagonally until I feel a deep stretch right at this corner of the pelvis. And you can move in and out. You can even hold with your hand here to deepen the motion. It will stretch or lengthen your obliques, your deeper abdominal layers, as well as the hip flexors. So wherever you are tight, wherever you feel this, it will be beneficial. And if you want, you repeat. But doing this just once should help you feel and relax your hip flexors. That's it from me for today. You can sign up for the Find Your Abs Challenge still. It stays open, so I'll give you the link and I'll be sending you an email once per day, motivating you to find your abs, activate them and use them, which will be a great preparation for the belly work workshop that's coming up soon. Bye bye, see you soon, have a great weekend.